currently, there are a couple of things that I regularly need to do to sustain my soul. One is I need to get outside just about every day. My husband and I usually walk a couple miles every day, and there's something about creation that renews and sustains my spirit. Just being outside, all seasons. For me, the seasons spell out a lot about the spiritual journey and often touch me at different points of my life. So that's clearly one thing I need to do. Worship and being in community is also essential. In my position, I have the privilege of being in daily chapel, and I take away something from every chapel service that I attend. But also spiritual friendships, spiritual relationships are so critical. Friends that I can be honest with, that I can share what's going on in my heart and soul, that know me and I know them. That's also something that I just can't do without. And I guess the last component is I also feel some type of prayer, regular prayer. And that's taken different manifestations over the years. When I was commuting into Manhattan, I used to do my morning prayers on the bus and had a prayer journal. Now I keep a prayer book, and I enter in prayer requests from the community, and that time of prayer is essential each day as well.
Thank you. And how does this practice care for your soul in the midst of a busy lifestyle here in a seminary context?
Well, I just don't think I could do what I do without these things, without getting outside, without praying, without being with other people. It would be like trying to drink from a dry well. Mm-hmm. You know, I think they're just essential to what I do.
And do you have a favorite mystic or a spiritual practice that's been inspired by a mystic that you've tried in the past or interested in at all through your experience here or as a student or as a professional?
I've done different things. I've done Lectio Divina. I've done different types of practices. It's interesting when you ask that question, the one thing that comes to mind is actually a quote by Saint Teresa of Avila, which has been, I would say, the cornerstone of my ministry. And since I've been in ministry, which is over 20 years now, I have had this quote framed, and I always keep it by the doorway of the office where I work. And it just reminds me, it's her words that say, Christ has no body now on earth but yours, no hands but yours, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes through which God's compassion will look upon the world, and yours are the feet with which God will go about doing good, and yours are the hands with which God will bless others now. And this quote, this reading from St. Teresa of Avila has been the cornerstone of my ministry. For me, captures the essence of it. So.
Thank you. And last but not least, several seminarians will watch these videos, and we hope that they'll be inspired by your story as well as just your insight and your admonition to them as they pursue their own spiritual formation and choose their practices over the course of their career here and beyond. What is your wish for them? And if you could speak to seminarian community specifically, if you want to think of one seminarian in particular, you can just look in the camera and let them know what your wish is for them as they pursue their own spiritual formation.
I think that my wish for every seminarian, and I say this during orientation and it remains constant for me, is that every seminary student finds their way to thrive here. And for me, I believe what is essential to that is spiritual and personal formation. As we say in orientation, seminary is an academic journey, clearly, and it's an academic and intellectual formation, but it's also a personal and spiritual formation. And I wish that when seminary students came in the door, I could give each person a roadmap about how to find their spiritual path and what will restore their soul and what will strengthen them and encourage them. But I have just found over the years is that spiritual formation is so highly individual that everyone has to find what works for them. What renews one person's soul might not renew someone else's. And so part of the task here at seminary, I feel, is creating space and opportunities where people can explore different spiritual practices and find out what works for them and incorporate that in their lives. So when they get out and get into ministry or whatever that is, in a parish or teaching or organization, wherever people are called to serve, they have tools, they have spiritual practices that they can draw on to strengthen them and nurture them and restore their soul. So my prayer is that everyone here thrives and that we can provide opportunities between worship and counseling and spiritual direction and formation groups and just there's so many other opportunities here, that people will find out what really restores and strengthens and renews their soul.